Today we are going to learn about C, but before that we will set up our C compiler on Visual Code Studio. Let's begin.
First we will download Mingwu W64 for compiling our C code. It starts downloading, but I have download, so I cancelled it. Then we will install the setup. It says already downloaded. Do you want to uninstall it? But I cancel it. You must click next and finish the setup. If you don't get how to install it, there is some guide on the web, you can follow it and finish installing. Then open MSIS2 MSIS terminal to download GCC and GDB compilers. Write pacman-su to synchronize package database. It will start downloading some packages. The downloading speed is based on your internet connection. It's timeout due to connection, so I start it again. As you see it finish installing packages, mine is up to date because I installed it before. We are open another terminal called MSIS2 Mingwu to install GCC and GDB. Then write a command like before. pacman ss gcc. Then copy Mingwu W64 x 86-64 GCC and hit enter to execute. It will start to download enter Y and the same for the GDB package. Then go to the Mingwu directory on your disk driver and copy bin directory to edit environment variable. Then search environment and search after that click environment variables, then go to system variable and edit it by creating new, then click OK. To make sure, open CMD terminal and type GCC version. And then go to Visual Code Studio extension and install Code Runner to run code simply by clicking Run Code. And install C/C++ extension too. Then by clicking File, add file to workspace. Then I am creating new file. Then I am creating new file to add the create file with extension .c. Let's test it if it's work well. Yay! Finally, it's worked well. So, in the first part we will learn about structure of C programming, understanding data types, handling standard input and output, manipulating data, working with loops, using conditional operators, working with data modifier and maths function, controlling program flow. And we will learn the rest in the next video. C is a programming language. The C language was first developed in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie at AT&T Bell Labs. Ritchie called his newly developed language C simply because there was a B programming language already. C is a high-level programming language. In fact, C is one of the most popular general-purpose programming language. The C language's readability and maintainability benefit directly from its relative closeness to human languages, especially English. Each high-level language needs a compiler or an interpreter to translate instructions written in the high-level programming language into a machine language that a computer can understand and execute. Different machines may need different compilers or interpreters for the same programming language. For instance, I use Microsoft's Visual Compiler to compile the C programs. If I need to run the C programs on a Unix-based workstation, I have to use another type of C compiler to compile these programs. Therefore, the portability of programs written in C is realized by recompiling the programs with different compilers for different machines. Many other high-level languages have been developed based on C. For instance, Perl is a popular programming language in World Wide Web design across the internet. Perl actually borrows a lot of features from C. If you understand C, learning Perl is a snap. Another example is the C++ language, which is simply an expanded version of C. Although C++ makes object-oriented programming easier, also, learning Java becomes much easier if you already know C. So, let's start by creating one project. Now let's take a close look at the C program. Before that, let's talk about commenting. On C, double slash is used for single line comment and slash with asterisk is used for double line commenting. If we know about commenting, let's go to line 1. On line 1, it starts with #, which is followed by include. In C, hashtag include forms a preprocessor directive that tells the C preprocessor to look for a file and place the contents of that file in the location where the hashtag include directive indicates. The preprocessor is a program that does some preparations for the C compiler before your code is compiled. Also in this line, you see that stio.h follows hashtag include. You may guess that the file the hashtag include directive asks for is something called stio.h. You are exactly right. Here, the hashtag include directive does ask the C preprocessor to look for and place stio.h at the location of the directive in the C program. Header files. The files that are included by the hashtag include directive, like stio.h, are called header files because the hashtag include directives are almost always placed at the start or head of C programs. Actually, the extension name of .h does mean header, and these are sometimes referred to in conversation as .h files. The angle bracket and the quotes in C header is if you want to let the C preprocessor look into the current directory first for a header file before it starts to look elsewhere. You can use double quotes to surround the name of the header file. The angle brackets ask the C preprocessor to look for a header file in a directory other than the current one. The main function is a very special function in C. Every C program must have a main function, and every C program can only have one main function. You can put the main function wherever you want in your C program. However, the execution of your program always starts with the main function. If you create other functions in your program, main will always execute first, even if it is at the bottom of your program file. In the printf function, one thing worth mentioning at this point is the new line character, \n. Usually suffixed at the end of a message, the new line character tells the computer to move the cursor to the beginning of the next line so that anything printed out after the message will start on the next line on the screen. All functions in C can return values. For instance, when you create a function to add two numbers, you can make such a function that returns to you the value of the addition. The main function itself returns an integer value. Therefore, in line 7 there is a statement, return 0, that indicates that 0 is returned from the main function and the program is terminated normally. There are cases when you must end your program due to an error condition. When that happens, you can return values other than 0 to tell the operating system that there was an error. Now let's do about the compiler and linking part. You may already be anxious to know how an executable file is made. Let's have a look how a C program is compiled and translated into an executable file. As shown in figure, there are at least 3 steps needed to create an executable file. First, a program file written in C, called source code, is made. The name of the source code file ends with the extension .c. Then the source code file is compiled by a C compiler, which creates a new file. The new file is an object file. In Unix operating system, the name of an object file ends with the extension .o. In the DOS and Windows operating systems, the extension is .object. You cannot execute the object file because there is some function code missing. You have to finish the next step, linking. Linking is done by invoking a special program called a linker, which normally comes with the compiler package. A linker is used to link together the object file, the ANSI standard C library, and other user-generated libraries to produce an executable file, the binary code. In this stage, the binary code of the library functions that are called in the source code is combined with the object file. The result is saved into a new file, an executable file. An executable file usually ends with the extension .exe in DOS and Windows. .com is another extension used for in DOS executable file name. In Unix, it's not necessary to include such an extension to an executable file name. Now let's compile our code and see the result. As you see, our program complied without error and print the result. In the next tutorial, we will learn about structure, data types, and keyword, handling standard input and output, and many more. See you in the next tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe.